Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to be your guide through this content development process. I'm going to teach you how to create remarkable content to post on social media, sales pages, email sequences, all of those things that you use for your business and your marketing to help you reach more qualified customers. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box are several links. One of the links that you're going to see is for the Content Calendar Blueprint program. This is an email-based training that is a guide that does more than have you learn how to set up all those tiny little squares in your content calendar. It actually gives you a content strategy and teaches you how to put the content into the content calendar. So another link that you're going to see is so that you could subscribe to the Marketing Strategy Collective program. This is my group program where we get together on Patreon, and this is the opportunity for you to work in a supportive group online space where you can actually see what happens with your marketing strategy when you experience support, feedback, and so no more second guessing about what am I doing? Is this even a great idea for my customers? This is your opportunity to actually get the help that you need with your marketing. So you see the links and you know what to do to learn more. All right. So today's video, we're going to talk about repurposing your content. Because the thing about repurposing your content is it's not just saying, okay, this content was really, really good, so I'm just going to copy and paste all the stuff that I did on one platform, move it to the next platform, use the same image, use the same call to action. That's not repurposing. That's actually called reposting. And I can tell you right now that when you do this kind of stuff with your marketing content, your community knows the difference. They know that's what you're seeing. And I see it all the time. I am talking to business owners who show up to my workshops. I talk to people who are my clients. I talk to those people who are in the Marketing Strategy Collective. I see it all the time. People just pouring all of their time and energy into like one really great piece of content. And then they post it and they, reap the benefits of it, and then they never use it again. Or maybe they think to themselves, well, that went really, really well, so I'm just going to copy and paste it and I'm just going to put it every single place else. And then they're wondering why, why isn't this working? What happened here? I thought it went really, really well. Let's be clear about something. Your content, and I mean content as in blog posts, videos, training sessions, training videos, workshops, lead magnets, emails, sales pages, all of that stuff is your content. This is a resource. It's a resource for your business. It's a resource for your customers to get to know what it's like to work with your business. And if you treat it like it's a one and done kind of thing, you're leaving opportunities, and let me include money, on the table. So I want to talk about how you can learn how to repurpose, but do it strategically and in a way that it feels like that this is not just something that I'm just, adding more work, but this is something that's going to help me work and connect with more customers out there. So let's talk about the difference between reposting and repurposing. And I'm going to show you a really simple framework to show you that how you can repurpose a piece of content. And I mean any piece of content. So let's talk about this reposting thing, because that's what happens when we just copy and paste something. If you put something on Instagram and it does, pretty good, you take the same caption, you take the same, copy, and you stick it on LinkedIn, and maybe a couple people click the like button, but it's not doing as well. So you try it again on Facebook and it's still not landing. And now you're like, well, I don't understand. Why did this content work here? It's the same content. Why is it not working here? The problem isn't the content itself. The problem is the format you put it in didn't match the platform. So if your community on LinkedIn is expecting something about business to business, then your community on Instagram just wants to see the pretty pictures and hear your storytelling. There's a disconnect here. There's a way that we're talking to people on the different platforms, and if we copy and paste it to the same thing over and over again, we're not sharing our message. We're just duplicating it. We're just copying and pasting it. So when we repurpose something, it's more about transforming it. It's more about reworking it. It's more about, changing it in such a way that fits the platform that we're using it for. So let's talk about this in that way, that a repurposing platform, a repurposing framework, is something that transforms your content. It doesn't just copy and paste it and repeat it. So if we think about it from this place, I want you to start with a strong core content. And when I'm talking about this content, it could be a blog post, it could be a video, it could be a carousel, it could even be a story that you shared in an email, something that did really, really well. It's driving traffic already to your website. It's resonating with people. The engagement is up. That this piece of content has a strong marketing message that is aligned with your company and your business and the services and products that you do. This is where we start. It's not about just copying and pasting a quote because it worked really, really well last month. Start with a strong piece of core content, and that is what we're going to repurpose. And then the next thing that we do after that is take a look at that piece of content and ask yourself, what's the main point that I want people to remember, or how can I get them to act on it? So that's what I want you to look at. I don't want you to look at its format. I don't want you to see where you first shared it, but what was the main point of it? What was the core piece of that message? That becomes the foundation. And when we find out and we learn what that main point of that core piece of content is, that is the foundation to what we use to repurpose. That we work from that place of the main point, not copying, pasting the original piece. We use that main point, the core of that thing, to see what is it that's making people engage. Is it that emotional story that I told? Was it the 5 steps that I shared? Was it, what is that core piece of that? And if we can learn the core piece of it, the main point of it, and what we want people to remember, what we want people to act on, then we match the format to the platform. We're not just reposting it, we're reframing it, we are reworking it, we're adapting the content to how the users use each platform. So if Instagram is a visual and emotion and storytelling, we're not just going to put a whole bunch of long copy in there. We want to make sure that we have visuals. Reels, they're fast, they're simple a simple tip. It's got our personality in it. So we're going to pull one piece out of that core piece of content, and we're going to focus in on that, giving our personality. So what we want to think about is we look at it from that place of what that main point is, and how can we integrate it into the platform that we want to use. So that final step that we use is to kind of think about it from that place of remixing it. So we want to think about, we pull out the tip, the quote, the client result, and we look at it from a different angle. What can we add to it? What can we, look at it from a different place of it? What's a different hook to it? And we look at it from that place, and that's how we decide what the actual caption, the copy read, the information that we're going to be sharing on each one of these platforms. So before I get into your next step, I do want to remind you to subscribe and don't miss out on, this month's episodes, because we're going to go all in on repurposing this month. And the more people who subscribe to this channel, the more people I know that I can reach with real marketing tips for more small business owners like yourself. All right, let's jump right back in here today. So let me show you what this looks like. Let's say that you've got a piece of content. Let's say you wrote a blog post called five signs it's time to raise your prices. that's a good piece of content. For most business owners, that's one of those things that we struggle with about our prices. Should I raise them? When should I raise them? Is this too much? Is this too low? That's value packed. I know that's helpful. I know it's going to have all kinds of tips in it because I've got 5 signs. So let's look at this and let's repurpose this with a strategy, not a copy and paste type of thing. So if we take this idea and we repurpose it, let's say we want to repurpose this on Instagram and we want to do a carousel post. So let's see, the first slide we would talk about, are you still charging the same rates you did 3 years ago? We want that hook. We want to get that emotion, into it. We want this information to question in your head. Wait a minute, I am using the same rates that I used 3 years ago. And then slides 2 through 6, we would break those up into each one of the 5 slides. We would use, visuals. We would use short words, bullet points or something like that, a quick read so somebody could, flip through those slides. And then that final slide would be the call to action to read the full blog or, message me for a pricing checklist or something like that, whatever you'd want to create. And that's how we would transform that blog post for Instagram. All right, let's see here. I'll do a couple more. Okay, LinkedIn, one of the things that we could do is we would change it into a post that we can actually publish directly onto LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has LinkedIn publishing. And the headline of that could be, here's how I knew I was undercharging and what happened when I raised my rates. That's a really strong hook, because there's a lot of business owners that can read that title and see themselves in it and go, am I undercharging? What happens when I do raise my rates? It's that question in your head, so they click on it so that they want to read more and they want to read the rest of the blog post. So I could share one of the signs, I could share 2 of them. I could expand it with a story and an engagement prompt, like, has this ever happened to you, or do you feel this way? And then the call to action could be, click here to read the rest of the blog post, and you send them straight to your website. So that's how we could do something different on LinkedIn. All right, so let's think about, let me do one more. Okay, let's say we're going to do a video. So we take that blog post and we're going to turn the blog post into a video. So the video hook could be something like, let's talk about how to know if your prices are too low. And in this video, because I want to make a short video, like a reel or something like that, I'm not going to go through all 5 of them. I'm going to pick just one of them. And I'm going to go through about why this is important, about how to know if your prices are too low, what to do about it, give them a call to action. And then I can end the whole thing with, I've got a blog post where I've listed out a total of 5 ways that you can know that this could help. Click here to read more, or comment pricing and I'll send them to you. Something like that. So do you see how I took the same piece of content, but I reframed it, I reformatted it based upon the different platform that I was using? It's the same piece. I didn't change the actual core of the message itself, but I pulled pieces from it and I repurposed it based upon the different platform that I was on. So if you want to think about it from that place, this is a really good thing for you to try out. So I want you to look at repurposing as a way of not adding more work to the work that you're already doing. It's about taking your marketing and having a deeper impact and not having to start from zero every single time that you create a new piece of content. So look at the pieces of content that you've already created. Do you have a blog post that's done really well, or maybe a video or a video series or something like that you did like really, really gangbusters on, and you're thinking to yourself, how can I repurpose these? Start by asking, obviously, is this a core piece of my content? Is this something that if people are looking for more information for my business and my products and services, this is a type of content that they would that would use them to create some engagement? And then take a look at that content and ask yourself, what's the main message? What is that main idea, the tip or something that I want them to take away from this? What do I want them to act on? And then take a look at it from that place, just like I had done with that blog post. That's the foundation of the repurposing. And now take a look at the other platforms and the other places where you're going to share this, and look to yourself and think, what's a new hook? What's a new angle that you could use? How can you transform this and shape this into a new piece of content? And I'm going to challenge you to do this and to see if you could move this into at least two. Try to do at least two new formats and rework that piece of content to fit the platform that you're posting on. Because remember, repurposing is not about a copy and paste. That's reposting. Repurposing is about continuously sharing that. Is that a word, continuously? I think that's the wrong word. Repurposing is about being consistent and making sure that you can continue to share your message. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Continue to share your message. And quite honestly, if it really comes down to it, repurposing, it's about honoring your time and your energy that you've already put into these ideas and created this content. It's about honoring and repurposing the content that you know is already doing well, and finding new opportunities to let that stay out there longer and to let it go further, and to let your marketing messages reach more customers. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this episode helped you look at your marketing differently, I would love to see you give it a like or share it with a fellow business owner. And make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so you don't miss a whole month's worth of us talking about repurposing your content. And if you do want some help getting started, inside this month's Marketing Strategy Collective Workbook, we're actually focusing on how to repurpose your content. As part of being a Marketing Strategy Collective, you get a strategy workbook. And this month you're going to work through how to choose the content to repurpose. And I'm going to give you ideas to show you how to remix it and change it up and move it into new platforms. So I want you to think about that. And if you are not in the collective yet, the link is below so that you can join us and you can start to build a repeatable content repurposing system that's going to save you some time and to help you stop working in the solo bubble and work in a collaborative space to finally get the help that you need with your marketing efforts. Because you are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.